Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I wanted to start this video off with this tweet from Sergeant Obi-Wan. The Bitcoin Cash mining pool gains 53% hash rate and control, 51% at risk. Proof of work coins will always have this problem, very dangerous. And for those of you that were not around, and many of you that were around will once I mention this, you will think about it and you'll say, yeah, you're kind of right. Have you noticed back, I think it was maybe 3 to 6 months ago, there was a 51% attack where someone got control of 51% of the mining on Ethereum Classic, and there was an actual 51% attack on Ethereum Classic. Have you noticed that I have not heard the words Ethereum Classic in at least a month or two. I have not heard the word. They literally, that thing has been pushed aside. The only reason that Bitcoin is not, my understanding is, the only reason that Bitcoin has not been as susceptible to this yet is because there's a lot more money involved, and there's more money in Bitcoin, and so it takes a lot more money in order to do a 51% attack. But it's not near as much money as you would think. But this right here, Bitcoin Cash, apparently is not big enough yet to not be susceptible to it. And so this is scary stuff. Now imagine, and I've made this point before, imagine that you are an investment advisor, which I'm not, okay? But imagine that you're an investment advisor and you've advised your clients to invest in Ethereum Classic, Bitcoin Cash, okay? And then you get a call one morning and your client says, well, you told me to invest in this Bitcoin Cash and this Ethereum Classic, and now I'm reading that that Ethereum Classic has had a 51% attack, and now I'm reading that someone's taken 51% control of Bitcoin Cash, and you told me to invest in it. Did you know that proof of work was susceptible to a 51% attack? And you, as the investment advisor, now have a tremendous amount of what's called liability, folks. This right here is what I pointed out back when the Ethereum Classic attack happened. This is the dirty secret of all these proof of work coins. They don't want to talk about. This is why XRP gets attacked so much, for this very reason. This is what they're terrified of. I'm going to show you here in a minute. It's not a coincidence about Bitcoin had its run up and then it kind of stopped, and then XRP started to run up, and then all of a sudden we start seeing attacks on XRP. It happens every time, and I'm going to show you in a second how that happened too, how it's happened recently. Okay, next, this is from an article about Tom Lee. Tom Lee cites 13 confirmations that the crypto winter is over. He is talking about how he was at Consensus. His timeline of events documenting the turnaround dates back to November 2018, when a Bitcoin Cash hard fork battle exhausted the Bitcoin supply held by 2 rival mining pools. Other significant milestones listed by Lee include January 23rd of this year, when on-chain transactions turned positive year on year for the first time in 12 months. He also pointed to how Fundstrat's Bitcoin Misery Index rose above 67 on March 27th, a watermark that had not been reached since August 2015. This was followed in April by a surge in OTC trading and on-chain activity, as well as Bitcoin's first bullish golden cross since October 2015. So there are many, many things that the professionals are seeing right now that let everyone know where all of this is going. And if nothing else, you're seeing it on Google Trends, you're seeing it in the news, you're seeing it in the sentiment in the news as well. Okay, next from, this is at X Lighting the Way sent me this. This is a tweet from Anthony Pompliano. He says, JP Morgan is now putting out reports about Bitcoin's intrinsic value. Thought it was worthless and had no value, according to Jamie Dimon. Never listen to what a bank says. Watch what they do. And this is in reference to this article right here. But just to take you back on and make the point, further the point of what Pompliano is saying. Jamie Dimon said Bitcoin was a fraud. He said that if any of his traders were caught trading Bitcoin, he would fire them. Okay, it was a Ponzi. I mean, all this stuff was said by Jamie Dimon. Meanwhile, he was creating the JP Morgan coin behind the scenes. But I wanted to show you, this is the chart they're talking about. So now all of a sudden, according to JP Morgan, there is intrinsic value in Bitcoin. And I'll just read you. This is a quote from, I wouldn't even begin to try to pronounce this guy's name. He's the MD, the managing director in global market strategy team at JP Morgan. He says, over the past few days, the actual price has moved sharply over marginal cost. This divergence between actual and intrinsic values carries some echoes of the spike higher in late 2017. And at the time, this divergence was resolved mostly by a reduction in actual prices. Okay, so now JP Morgan, whose traders would be fired just a year ago or so, they would be fired if they were caught trading it because it's such a Ponzi scheme and a fraud. Now, their charts, they're saying it has an intrinsic value. And so, as I've told you from the time I started my channel, this is just one phase of what's coming, folks. Not only is JP Morgan going to be trading in digital assets, JP Morgan and all the traditional financial firms will be the biggest cheerleaders. I've said it all along. They will be bigger cheerleaders than I am for digital assets. But they won't be until they have a way to make money on it, because that's what it's really all about. And I've said that from day one of this channel, and I stand by it. Now they're saying it has intrinsic value. The next step will be they will be putting out shiny, glossy brochures to all of their clients on all the benefits of having digital assets as the new asset class in your portfolio. Write it down. Write it down. I said it here. Okay. And next, from Sergeant Obi-Wan, next month, he's just announcing this. This is another conference. I'm dying to start going to some of these conferences. Next month, Unchained Convention 2019 will be set up. We'll set up a get-together with state-of-the-art crypto voices again, amongst others, Tone Vays and Brock Pierce. And this is just one more conference. You're going to see a lot more of these things. Next. Now, this is a chart guy on Twitter as well that I follow. He says, this is at Mr. Level Up, awake. If you want to buy XRP, well, you have around 6 days to do so. You'll never see 36 to 38 cents again, just in my opinion. We stay under 45 cents all week. Get your boarding pass and bags packed. I'll be making my final chart call May 23rd to May 25th. And then he says, the closer we get to midweek, the more accurate I can be. Right now, I'm estimating Monday or Tuesday next week, but as we get closer, the timing will narrow down. Interesting, exciting. Okay, and then I got this from X-Men XRP right here. This is an article about Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff really, it says, here's why Peter Schiff lambasting 60 Minutes for pro-Bitcoin show is optimistic. And this whole article is basically about Peter Schiff. He tweeted that 60 Minutes did a one-sided segment about Bitcoin and didn't show any of the negative things. Well, here's his actual tweet. 60 Minutes just aired a free commercial for Bitcoin. Great press for Bitcoin owners looking to sell to CBS viewers who may be suckered into buying based on this very one-sided segment. At a minimum, CBS owed its audience a healthy degree of skepticism. Very bad reporting as usual. And I replied to him and I said, Bitcoin and crypto has been through 10 years of constant, non-stop skepticism. The fact that it is still here should show you the light. Still a big fan, but you are so wrong on this one. And I will just go through just a short list for Peter of some of the things that have been said over the last 10 years by every media outlet, from Forbes to CBS, all of them. It's crypto has been called a fraud, a Ponzi scheme, only good for money laundering. The people involved in crypto are just dumb kids. I believe maybe Peter Schiff had said something like that last week. But it's been called but Ponzi scheme has been the main one that it's been called. But the big overall theme of every major financial news outlet over the last 10 years has been that, oh, it was primarily used for money laundering and this type of thing. Couldn't be further from the truth. What it's being used for is freedom, Peter, and you are missing the boat big time. I'll tell you again, you need to start yourself a digital asset trading company. It is the perfect complement to your precious metals business. Perfect complement. Okay, the Bitcoin pizza guy was on the 60 Minutes segment last night, and I just thought this was funny. You need to hear this. I felt sorry for the guy. So, how do you feel about the $800 million pizza? And he says, my therapist says we shouldn't talk about it. I bet he does. Okay, now this is the point I wanted to make from earlier. This is Vays, who's a major Bitcoin guy. He's being interviewed by Block TV News. I want to make a comment on Block TV News. At Block TV News, they have 4,438 followers on Twitter. I went and looked at their YouTube channel. They have like 700 and something subscribers. They were featured by Rand Nooner on CNBC Crypto Show at Consensus as if they were this big juggernaut, when actually they've got this big production going on, but they have no following whatsoever. So it has to be some kind of thing that's being funded with some type of an agenda, is what I have to believe. But anyway, this is their video. I'm not even sure why. This is what Vays here is saying. You need to go watch this. It's ridiculous. I'm not even sure why people consider Ripple a cryptocurrency. To me, Ripple is just a stock of the Ripple Corporation. It's totally useless, totally irrelevant. Well, he also says in here that it has, what was the term that he used? It has zero, because I replied to his tweet. I thought it was so stupid. I didn't just think it was stupid. I thought that it was just an out-and-out lie. But the people with the XRP, the Ripple community, have just blasted this guy as he deserves to be blasted. But I can't find my response to him. But anyway, he said that I know what it was. He said that it has zero functionality, and my response to that was to the effect of, you know, there are disagreements, and then there are people that just tell out and out lies that they know better than to tell. I mean, this guy's not a dumb guy. He knows better than that. Zero functionality. One of the points that was made in here, I'll take you to it if I can find it, was by one of the smarter guys in the XRP community. What's his name? Matt. See, there's so many people that are just pounding this guy. Here it is. This is the best point I saw in here. He says, and Coil made 6 billion payments in the last year in XRP, and they are not even out of beta. But yeah, no utility. Good grief, what a moron. And then somebody asked him in here. Somebody asked Matt Hamilton here it is. 6 billion in payments via Coil. That sounds extremely high. And he shows them a video. I mean, so this guy's always well documented in what he says. Well, a point I wanted to make having to do with this before I leave it. Don't think for a second that XRP is not the Bitcoin maxi's worst nightmare. And don't think that this guy is not, this guy is saying these things as a direct response. Remember, Bitcoin ran up to 8,000 or so. Then it kind of sat there, and then XRP began to surge. His worst nightmare is XRP not just surging, but eventually overtaking Bitcoin, because then guess what Bitcoin becomes? An altcoin. And he knows that XRP is the only digital asset that has that kind of power behind it, and he knows it could happen. He knows it will happen, in my opinion. And that's why he comes out. He's not talking, you don't hear him talking about Dogcoin and what a joke that is. You don't even hear him talking about Stellar. Now remember, Stellar is a company that they put a, Stellar was created as a non-profit, and don't think that there's no reason for the non-profit. They created it as a non-profit for the purpose of getting around the whole security issue. That's one of the things he mentions in here. Oh, I'm looking forward to the court case and the decision on that. Well, good luck with that, buddy. All right. Because we're going to be dealing, as XRP begins to surge, we're going to be dealing with more of this type of thing. Many of you that are new to watching this channel, you need to be aware of this website that you can go to. It's called FUD Bingo. FUD, for those of you that don't know, is fear, uncertainty, doubt. And that's what the people like Tone Vays are trying to spread on XRP, because they do have fear. So anyway, FUDBingo.com is where you can go. All of the stupid things that these guys are going to say that are not true are all addressed here. Ripple owns 99% of the coins. XRapid will never go live. Ripple isn't even promoting XRP use. XRP communities are bots. Anything that you are going to hear that is pure FUD and not true is here. And then you can click on it, and you can, and they give you a in-depth discussion of how it's been debunked or why it's not true. You need to go check it out. And finally, I wanted to show you this before I let you go. From Whale Surfer, at the Whale Surfer, XRP boarding pass, get it before it's too late. And I like this graphic here. I think I'm going to use this graphic for this video. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button. And tell your friends and family that this is what the XRP boarding pass looks like. Thanks for listening.